Good morning to you, Mr. Memelsdorff. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'd like to start with the first question. Talking about period execution and period performance. So, what is the value of holding a style composition in an era in which avant-garde and pop music are the most requested styles by the music market?
Performers of any style can take advantage of every historical information source they find on their way. Information on old performance practices. We are now not talking of composition in itself, but performance practices. Both things are rather connected, as I said. Function like any other source of information. Many old ways of performing or composing are actually unique and were never repeated. So to explore them can show you forms of developing fantasy and realizing it that you never had thought of. How you use it, how you combine it with other stuff is up to you.
So, what is your vision of composition as an art form? Do you consider it more as an artisanal craft or a creative work?
I think that's in most art forms. Musical composition includes both. It entails, of course, a skill of artisanal experience and craft work, but it also entails a creative process and a creative work of art. Though work in music composition is a very heavily connoted term, it still makes sense in this context.
What do you think of period composition as opposed to the avant-garde compositional movements of the 20th century and those of the postmodern today?
Well, period composition denotes a practice which in many musical styles of the past, was seen as a almost automatic extension of performance and improvisation. And as such, it has an important place in the training of performers of music of many styles of the past. At the same time, it can inspire modern composers in many important ways, not only freeing period performers from their scores, but also freeing avant-garde performers from recent compositional norms they know. So if they go in the past and explore other norms, sometimes they end up reinventing new futures of the past, let's call it, and include these new futures in their compositional strategies. So it's highly revealing for avant-garde composers as well.
What do you think is the future of musical composition in general?
Well, this discussion went deeper in the discussion between John Cage and Luigi Nono.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. So John Cage claiming that to be original, you should ignore the past and not know it.
Absolutely.
And Luigi Nono claiming the opposite, that to guarantee to be original, you need to know the past in order not to repeat it. Well, all of this has to do with a big anxiety movements, let's say, of the 1960s and 70s, people looking for originality, fearing that everything had been done already.
Absolutely.
So this discussion makes sense in this context. But what I would like to point out is that period composition lives in the paradox of knowing the future of the past. So as music historians, period composers know in which ways norms have been transgressed to change styles. For instance, they know how Palestrina was transgressed by Monteverdi. So if they want to be composers who not just repeat existent formulas or models, if they want to say something that has not been said, they are in a paradox. Either they transgress old norms as they have been transgressed, and then they do not escape the problem of repeating the past, or they transgress them in a completely new way, and then they become anachronistic and not period composers anymore, but avant-garde in some or another way. This is the paradox of period composition, but it's a very welcome paradox in a way, because it interrogates musicians and helps them, if they are period musicians, to extend their performance and improvisation skills. And if they want to become composers, no matter if postmodern or whatever other form of avant-garde they choose, it enhances grandly their fantasy. So in any case, in the future of composition, period composition will always have a place.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Memelsdorff. You've been great. I am so appreciative of your time and of the answering my questions.
Very much.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you.